Hello everyone, and welcome to Pittman's Pit for my WWE Raw Review. Well, they can't all be stars, can they? Honestly, if I was going to describe what I saw last night, two words pretty much come to mind. Pointlessness and disappointment. This show was full of both of them. Honestly, the only good thing that came out of last night's Halloween edition of Raw was Goldberg. Goldberg coming out, and then Heyman interrupted him, talking about how Brock Lesnar's an impatient beast, and he wants to finish this right here, right now. Then Brock's music hits, and freaking Heyman's trolling everybody, because Brock's not even in the building, and he talks about how the look on Goldberg's son's face of disappointment is gonna be nothing compared to the disappointment on his son's face when Brock Lesnar absolutely destroys him at Survivor Series. Then Rusev comes out, and what a spot for Rusev. He first gets in this triple main event, which the concept of a triple main event is kind of bogus, but I digress. He gets in this triple main event in a big spot against Roman Reigns and puts on a great match, and now he's in a segment where he's trash talking Bill freaking Goldberg. Think about that for a second. This guy went from getting squashed at WrestleMania by John Cena to now getting squashed by Goldberg. But at least in this case, he kinda one-upped him on the mic here and there. He's talking about how he used to watch Goldberg as a kid, how he saw him as this devastating monster who had the heart, who had the jackknife powerbomb, jackhammer, I mean. And he had the devastating spear. And he's just like, Goldberg, I don't think you got it anymore. And you know what I do to washed up has-beens? Rusev crush. And then Rusev starts trying to attack Goldberg, but of course, Goldberg ain't gonna have none of that. And he absolutely just jackhammers the hell out of him. Then Heyman's looking down like, what the hell is this? And BAM! Freaking Goldberg spears Heyman out of his boots, puts him in the hospital, kayfabe. And honestly, that was an epic segment, but everything else just sucked. Because after that, I mean, you had this pointless street fight, which shows the 50-50 flip-flop and booking of WWE nowadays. I mean, okay, so we're gonna have Enzo and Cass fight at Hell in a Cell. And we're gonna have them face Anderson and Gallows. And we're gonna have Anderson and Gallows win. Makes sense. The club kinda needs it. So, I can kinda live with that. Then you come back here, and you have this street fight, and you just do the exact opposite thing. Why would anybody watch the pay-per-views if you're just gonna give them the same match with the outcome a lot of them wanted for free on Monday Night Raw? Why would they watch your pay-per-views if you're just going to do that? And the thing that makes this even more pointless is, honestly, there's no consequence to this match. It wasn't a number one contender spot. There was no promise of like a title shot, which frankly there should have been. At the next pay-per-view, if you're gonna have these guys compete at all, which you're probably not gonna have them have one-on-one, they're probably gonna be in that tag team Survivor Series match, which more on that in a minute. There's something about it that's got me a little bit ticked off. But if, pray tell, the next time they do go have a tag team match against each other, the club versus Enzo and Cass, you need to have some weight to it. You need to actually have a purpose to them. Honestly, I think they should make it a WWE tag team title #1 contenders match. Because then, the winner can take on the New Day at TLC after they break the tag team championship record, and it should be Enzo and Cass, and then Enzo and Cass beat New Day, and they become your WWE Tag Team Champions, defeating the longest reigning champions in WWE history. They're not going to do that because WWE isn't that smart, and Vince McMahon damn sure is not that smart. But honestly, that's where they should go. They need to have some consequence to your matches. Honestly, I'm not surprised, but they're doing the same thing, honestly, now. Now that I think about it, with the cruiserweights. Like, they had 2 segments of the cruiserweight division, and honestly, I'm just disappointed, to be honest with you. Like, I watched the Cruiserweight Classic, and I was on the edge of my seat. I was completely in awe of every match that I saw. It was mind-blowing TV. Every single cruiserweight had a reason to be there, and they were treated like freaking stars. Now, honestly, they're all just treated like another damn spot on the card, and that's it. If you're lucky, like TJ Perkins and Brian Kendrick, you might get a half-assed feud to actually give you some relevance. But everybody else is just getting put in these nonsensical, inconsequential 6-man tag matches that, granted, the matches are good, but what's the damn point? And what really separates, say, a Drew Gulak from an Arya Daivari? Or a Tony Nese from a Cedric Alexander? Or a Lindsay Dorado from a Sin Cara? What really separates any of these characters from each other? There's really nothing at all. There's nothing there to make anybody stand out or to make the fans care more about any of them. They're just there to fill a spot and flip and kick and do all this very, very risky stuff when really there's no real reward for it because they're not going to get higher on the card. It's very disappointing because these guys have so much talent. They prove that they can be a star. Every single one of them, in their own way, proved that in the Cruiserweight Classic. And Vince McMahon just looks at them like, they ain't the size of Roman Reigns, so why the hell should we make anybody care about them? Frankly, it's disgusting to me. And another thing that was really disappointing, and honestly really pointless, was the situation with this freaking Golden Truth thing. They're wasting people's time with these segments like the Golden Truth and the freaking Battle Royal. Oh, dear God. I'm sorry. I like Braun Strowman. He's this monster, this one-man wrecking crew. I like him. But tell me, when you were watching that Battle Royal, and don't give me this crap about Sami Zayn, you look at Sami Zayn and you look at freaking Braun Strowman, you can't honestly tell me that Sami is a reasonable, realistic opponent that can actually get one on Braun Strowman. It's just not realistic. Strowman could fart and freaking knock out Sami Zayn. It's that unrealistic. It's that bad. That freaking Sami Zayn doesn't stand a chance. Nobody else in the damn Battle Royal stood a chance against him. So, I understand they're trying to get him over, but eventually, you're gonna have to present him with somebody like, I don't know, where the heck is Mark Henry? Where the heck is the Big Show? I never thought I'd say that. But seriously, where are these big guys that are on the WWE Raw roster that you can have and send after Braun Strowman and have it be semi-realistic. Where the hell are these people? And Braun just mows through everybody, and WWE doesn't give the fans to really care about him because they don't set up anybody to realistically match up with him. So of course he's gonna win. Of course he's gonna destroy him. You might as well have sent that freaking I don't know, that really scrawny dude from SmackDown, Ellsworth. That's the guy. You might as well have just had James Ellsworth show up and challenge him, because at least that would have been kind of funny. Sami Zayn just is not a realistic opponent for Braun Strowman, and nobody on the roster pretty much is right now that they've sent after him. Honestly, I don't know where WWE's head's at, because the only other thing that irritates me more than the fact that there's these inconsequential matches, like the street fight, the cruiserweight matches, the freaking battle royal, is this lack of real direction for anybody. I mean, you had Charlie come out, and of course, he's gonna gloat and want and complain that she's not getting the respect. He's gonna gloat about the fact that she destroyed Sasha at Hell in a Cell. She's gonna absolutely ham it up like she should be doing after that match. I still don't agree with the decision to have her win, but if you're gonna do that, at least capitalize better than this. I mean, granted, her promo, her version of capitalizing, was great. But the way she booked that now she's gonna be in this women's tag team match at Survivor Series, I just, yeah, no. And now they're gonna have this thing where Bayley and her are gonna have to try and get along. And now she's using all these other people that are supposedly on the team, like she did with Nia Jax last night, to try and weaken Bayley, which, if you're a team captain, even if you are a jerk, why would you do that? Like, wouldn't you want even the people that you don't like to be at 100% so they don't make you freaking look bad? I just don't really get it. And honestly, the fact that she's not defending her championship at Survivor Series really annoys me, because it just goes to show that because of the way they booked the WWE Women's Division on Raw, that there's not really enough people on the division to really match up against a women's champion. They've done this Sasha Banks and Charlotte thing so much that they've forgotten to build pretty much anybody else up. They've forgotten. They somewhat gave a bit of a shine to Dana Brooke, a little bit, but that was mostly as Charlotte's lackey, so most of the shine still goes on Charlotte. They gave a little bit to Bayley, but honestly, that was for the triple threat that they did, and after that, they pretty much just cast them aside, and the only real shine they've given to anybody else is when they were sending jobbers at freaking Nia Jax, which, by the way, I like her, but we need to start actually building her up by having her beat up people that matter. Have her squash somebody like Bayley again. Have her beat up somebody like, I don't know, who else is on the roster? I think Alicia Fox is on there. We already did that one. And now I just realized it. You have done so much inconsistency with your women's division of only building up really two women, and granted they're awesome, but you've done so much to only build those two up. I don't even know other than three other names: Dana Brooke, Bayley, Nia Jax. Other than those three names, those are the only five names I really know that are even on your division. Is there anybody else? Oh yeah, and there's Emma, but she hasn't even come back yet. You know what? When she does, if she's really supposed to be only this model, like they're calling her Emelina now, I don't know why. I mean, she was a great wrestler before, so why not just let her be a wrestler? I mean, granted, she is hot, but still. Don't let that be the only thing about her. That's part of what was the problem in the Attitude Era. You had people like Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler that really, the only thing about them was they were freaking hot. That's it. Thank God you had people like Trish and Lita back then, because other than that, well, the WWE Women's Division just was not what it is today. Which is saying something because with the booking that they have, it's not doing very good. It could be great, but it's just not what it could be at all, even close. Another thing that I honestly was disappointed in was the New Day segment. They started dressing up as versions of the characters that the guy that played the Godfather played. I believe it was Kofi dressed up as the Godfather. Xavier Woods dressed up as Papa Shango, and Biggie dressed up as Kama Mustafa. I was disappointed in this because it showed that yet again, freaking the New Day, they're not defending their titles at Survivor Series. They're gonna be in the tag team, the Survivor Series 5-on-5 for the tag teams. They're gonna be in that match, and it's like I'm starting to get a little worried. It seems like WWE is only putting their eggs in the Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg basket, and they're not even doing a very good job of building that one up. So you're going to have no women's title match for Raw, no tag team title match for Raw, and because of the fact that the singles 5-on-5 tag team match for the men is going to include Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, which more on them in a minute, but you're not going to have a US title or the Universal Championship defended. So really the only Raw title you're actually going to defend, if they don't put TJ Perkins in the 5-on-5, which I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, why defend any titles for Raw at this point? You're not doing a good job making them mean anything, except for the women's division. But then, of course, you go and diminish that by she's not going to defend it. The only match that really could be a title match is they might have a Cruiserweight Championship match, which, like I said, the Cruiserweights are so inconsequential nowadays. Why even do that one? It just kind of bugs me, because how are these titles supposed to mean anything if you don't keep defending them? And isn't there supposed to be this 30-day clause that if champions don't defend in a certain amount of days, they get stripped of the title? How's that gonna work out? And then we get to Roman Reigns and Cesaro. Two opposite ends of the spectrum that honestly, both of them, I'm just completely disappointed and honestly disgusted with WWE right now. You have Cesaro. He's got all the potential in the world. He has the fans behind him. He's got people cheering for him like crazy right now. And you stick him in this boring, stupid, freaking, going nowhere, dumb-ass tag team with Sheamus. And you have him in this boring match that's gonna go nowhere against the freaking Shining Stars, Primo and Epico. Which, by the way, how dare you turn the Colognes into freaking con artist salesman people. And that's basically all they are. But the even bigger travesty is that this man, Cesaro, that should be a main eventer, he should be going for the Universal Championship right now. You got him in this match against the Shining Stars, and he is killing it. He's making them look like $1 million. But you're not gonna care. You're just gonna keep feeding him these pointless matches. And ultimately, he's never gonna win the World Championship because WWE does not care what the fans think. And, well, this is getting tough. I don't even know what to say anymore. You've got freaking no direction. You've got no real progression for anybody. No real way to make anybody stand out. And because WWE has no real competition at all, they don't have any other competition, any other companies that are even potentially going to give them a run for their money. They have a fan base that, let's face it, as much as we whine and we complain and bitch and moan and groan and whine more, let's face it, we're all coming back next week. We're all hooked on this stuff. It's like a freaking addiction for a lot of us. So why would WWE even try? Why would the WWE ever care? Honestly, it's a crying shame too. And then we get to the main event segment. And it just shows the biggest disappointment of all for me. The WWE's consistent ignorance to what the fans want, and their inability to adapt to a situation. They used to have so many characters that and so many different ideas running around in their heads that when one idea wasn't working, they could flip and easily turn it to do something else and capitalize on what the crowd was reacting to. Their idea with Rocky Maivia wasn't working, they came up with The Rock. Their idea with the freaking Ringmaster wasn't working, they came up with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Their idea with the freaking Blue Blood, this prissy Englishman kind of snarky character that Hunter Hearst Helmsley was calling himself. They weren't going anywhere with that. And what did they do? They created Triple freaking H and the Generation X out of it. This was the turn on a dime, genius mentality that WWE and Vince McMahon used to have. But now, their egos have gone so damn big, they don't care. And the prime example of this is Roman freaking Reigns. Honestly, I don't hate the guy. I like him actually. He's got a good look, he's cool, he's this badass, kinda like Goldberg was, except not quite as badass as him. But you get my point. He's similar in a couple ways. So I kinda dig that. But the fans clearly don't. They're booing him out of the building. And what does WWE do? They have him make jokes about ghosts being in the building because of the boo sound. They have Mick Foley saying, "Oh, by the way, my wife loves you," as if that's supposed to be funny. And they have him going over guys like Chris Jericho, who, frankly, he's so over that now he has to threaten not to put people on the list just because he's gotten that thing so over. He got the list of Jericho so over that now he has to not put people on the list just because people cheer him when he freaking does. WWE has no idea how to keep people getting the reactions that they need them to get. It's mind-blowing, honestly. It's enough to give a man a headache, to be honest with you. Because I remember the days when you had the guys like Kurt Angle, when you had the guys like Brock Lesnar, when you had the guys like Eddie Guerrero, you had guys like freaking, I don't know, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. You had all these guys that knew how to work the crowd and how to put the crowd in the palm of their hands. And now, you don't have any of that, because you are left with people that very few of them know how to work a crowd, and those that do are never given the opportunity because they do things different from the way the WWE and their egotistical minds want things to be done. So, like I said, overall, you had a stupid battle royal. No titles except maybe the Cruiserweight gonna be defended at Survivor Series, which I think gets none of the champions anywhere. You get freaking Goldberg having to carry a show in the opening segment, but because he's the opening segment, it doesn't really do much for the crowd because they still have to sit through 3 hours of show that isn't ready to deliver to capitalize on what he was able to do. And ultimately, you have different levels of stars, be it the cruiserweights, the women, the freaking Roman Reigns of the world, the freaking Cesaros of the world. You have all these people that could be great stars if the WWE knew how to capitalize on them, and either they don't know, or they just don't freaking care to know. So overall, last night's episode was no point, no direction, and ultimately no fun.